want to put your arms out like that?
On today's show, some people dream of flying with eagles. This man made it happen.
Wow.
Take along as we go up and away here in Minnesota. One photographer hopes his work and our landscape might forever be remembered on the pages of a new book.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Up first, one of the most unique stories we have ever documented.
You know, a lot of people around these parts get a chance to watch bald eagles. It seems like they're everywhere.
But few have a chance to soar with the eagles. One Minnesotan is changing that.
Man has always attempted to try and tame the wind. Suppose that's why Minnesota's fall compass points towards Pepin, a bluff country lake of massive Mississippi River proportions. A spot where wind steers people to water.
It's pretty special here.
Amanda Peterson loves lake life.
It's a magical place. It gives me this feeling of peacefulness, you know, that's hard to recreate or capture anywhere else.
She always felt grounded here.
This is what home is.
Until right now.
Are you nervous?
I am excited. I'm going to channel that energy into excitement.
Excitement to sail with this guy.
Man, you've been watching us for the last 3-4 years, and you decided to come fly with us.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's get you in the harness.
Okay.
David Dibson loves to ride Lake Pepin's breeze.
You're going to be able to feel wind between your toes.
Although his sailboat looks different.
Look up in the sky, you see a big white puffy cloud way up there. We're going that high.
Oh my gosh, an imminent feeling. I'm going to be flying here real soon.
Lake City, #1, is the birthplace of water skiing. And now the birthplace of eagle hang gliding. So there we go. So it's a little bit windier on the way up.
David figured ingenuity could help him sort of kill
You just want to put your arms out like that.
two birds with one stone.
And go ahead and flap. I started experimenting about 15 years ago with towing off of the back of the boat.
Okay.
You don't have to hold on tight.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Using a winch and a very long rope.
There's 6,000 feet of line on our spool.
Yep. More than a mile of line.
So while we're towing up, it's a little bit windier because we're like a kite.
Woo!
We're kind of getting bounced around.
Is that okay?
And that's good.
Okay.
Because that's the reason the eagles are out.
Okay. Wow.
David's guests see Lake Pepin with new perspective.
It's just beautiful up here.
Especially when time comes to cut the cord.
Oh my gosh. Whoa, baby. No way.
So we take off the back of the boat. When we get up to the desired altitude, I release from that tow line and we free fly away. But as soon as we release from that tow line, everything goes really quiet. The topography is an amazing thing to see from the air.
You could see everything, like the fields, the river, it was the bluffs.
David steers his hang glider to the bluffs
Oh my goodness.
to catch thermal air rising.
When the wind blows across the lake and hits one of these bluffs, it turns that air and shoots it vertical. It's called orographic lift.
The stuff hang gliding pilots dream of.
If we want to know what the conditions are like, we just look up in the sky and see if there's any eagles.
Bald eagles use that lift and also thermals to drift around Lake Pepin.
Oh my
my gosh, you can see them!
The spot Amanda realizes
Look at that!
they do not fly alone.
We had eagles above us and below us and around us. I mean, it was just amazing.
Soaring with the eagles is not just a phrase anymore.
Seriously.
Be like, no, I actually
really.
soar with eagles.
The slow descent back down to the lake and the boat. An adventure of its own.
And then when he dipped you down for the landing, you know, it felt like a roller coaster a little bit. Like, it was awesome. Oh my gosh.
David's Bluff Country Bird Tour.
Yeah, I think you did pretty good.
That's amazing.
A ride that certainly won't break the bank,
Totally recommend it.
but might just take your breath away.
It was, I'm speechless. It was so great.
You want to know more about Dave Dibson's business? Well, Dave and I sit down on this week's edition of the Minnesota Bound podcast, The Stories Behind the Stories. He talks about a few of his most unusual flights. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, North Dakota Tourism, Star Bank, and by All Seasons Garage Door.
Minnesota has its fair share of nature photographers. We tagged along with one photographer that is known for his Lake Superior and St. Croix River photography, and also has a famous last name.
I'm Craig Blacklock. I've been a full-time professional landscape photographer since 1976. Some interesting visuals. I like the needles and the pondweed down here. Nice reflections right now. My dad, Les Blacklock, was a very well-known landscape photographer. From the time I was 9, I think I was shooting photographs of nature alongside my father. And so I was very lucky as a kid being able to travel with my dad throughout the most beautiful places in the country. I've made my living throughout my career doing the interface of water and land in wild areas. My last project was the book, The St. Croix and Amakagan Rivers, The Enduring Gift. I'd paddled little portions of the river before, but I didn't know the whole riverway. I did an exploratory trip with my wife and daughter, and I was absolutely blown away by the diversity of it, both the geology and the forest types and the incredible amount of bird life on the river. So I realized there was a book in the making here as far as subject matter goes. The next year I paddled every mile of both the St. Croix and Amakagan as quickly as I could to understand what was here. I want to give people the experience of taking a walk with me, looking for things like the little ferns, the cracks in the rocks, the white pine needle clusters, patterns, textures. So I'm their guide, and I want to take them to the most beautiful places at the optimum time of each season, the best time of day, and just kind of meander down through the riverway and throughout the seasons. Okay, we did 3 different editions in 2 sizes. I have the museum edition and the collector's edition. And when it's opened up, it's 42 inches across. I love photographing birds, and especially egrets with the white feathers. And the technology of the new cameras is totally amazing. The ability to capture something like this is just mind-boggling to me. People who start photography now have no idea how incredible things are compared to what it used to be with film. This is my favorite image in the entire book, and there's nothing extraordinary about it. It just epitomizes what the St. Croix is about. It's a quiet morning, a little bit of rapids, sun's coming up through the fog. It's just the beginning of what you know is going to be a great day on the river. The paddle wheel boat going under the old lift bridge in Stillwater was one of the iconic shots that I knew I wanted to get, and I was lucky enough to get it with the peak of fall color and a beautiful sunset hitting the cloud here. Sometimes you plan and you plan and you plan, and then you just get really lucky at the same time. This was probably the most impressive day I have on the river. It was absolutely calm and foggy from morning through about noon. While everything else was calm, my heart was racing the whole time because those are conditions you don't get very often. So I was just racing from one location to the next. This was another taken on the same morning with the leaves floating on the water. Those are the moments where your heart gets pumping and you get out there, and that's what it's all about, being a nature photographer.
Closed captioning provided by Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Up next, we saddle up to hit the trail. On today's ride, no horses allowed.
Want it black?
Some folks count on their jolts of dark morning Java.
Actually looks pretty good for this water.
But these state park campers tend to find their kicks out back,
Well, they might just toss you.
where Dallas Smith's mules always eat first.
That one there is Scarlet, and the guy on the end is Schnooks. And this one here is Candy. I don't know, we just got interested in them, started raising them, and started riding them. Here we are with more than we need.
Such is the attitude among most members of Minnesota's Donkey and Mule Association.
Yeah, that's the spot.
Folks who celebrate the stubborn end result of affection between a horse and a donkey.
When a mule don't want to do something, he lets you know. You know, the difference between a mule and a horse is a mule's got a union card.
Every fall, the club gets together for a social weekend.
Spin that baby around, get him on there. They call it the last chance ride. This is the last chance.
The last of the trail rides before snow flies.
This is an old club. I bet it's close to 50.
A club started in the 1970s by riders who also liked to hunt using mules. Back then, they chased raccoons. Nowadays, they chase new destinations. You know, parks that offer established equestrian trails and camping.
They have some steep trails, and then they go up hills, and there's kind of...
That's 9-year-old Wilson Hochstein, the Mule Club's youngest member, 5 years in a row.
I just like that they're gentle with people, and she's easy for me to get up on.
Oh, he likes the riding part too.
Just hold them in, make them walk. I think they're the better horse if you got an open mind about some things.
Come on, come on, come on.
There you got her.
So the next time you see a mule, think of the tender animal that makes you forget how rough the trail might be, at least until you get off.
Oh yeah, I'm getting sore already. It means I'm getting older.
Straight ahead, a Minnesota-bound classic in honor of a national treasure hidden way up in Minnesota's North Woods.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by the Minnesota DNR, Pearson Salted Nut Roll, Coors Light, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota-bound classic focuses on the 4 seasons of our only national park.
My dad, Ron Shera, shares his memories of Voyagers National Park.
This is the quiet time, winter in Voyagers. But there's no such thing as the dead of winter. We also make our tracks in the snow. More than 500 miles of trails take you to places never seen in summer.
It's like driving through a painting.
And here's another view that visitors rarely see. An eagle's view of Voyagers, the kind Francis Einerson has seen for a lifetime. On this day, his flight path is over a village of ice anglers. Francis always keeps his fishing poles handy.
Absolutely every cast of bass in here in June. Can't believe how many bass.
Springtime brings a new look to Voyagers and to Einerson's airplane. The skis come off, replaced by floats. In roadless country, seaplanes are like...
almost like a taxi.
Fact is, in Voyagers, water is the only way to get around. And that's how the French explorers saw what is now a park named in their honor. What's so special today is, if you want, you can still travel like those Voyagers of so long ago.
Around here we have a lot of wildlife, and it is really nice to sneak right up on them.
There's also evidence that we were not the first explorers to this popular waterway. When summer comes, nature unfolds a magical show in Voyagers. It's a watery maze covering 4 lakes and more than 500 islands of pine and granite. It's also a place as timeless as rain is wet. Some of us choose to see Voyagers in a floating living room. Houseboat vacations are popular pastimes here. Yes, this is the land of sky blue water. The advertising world discovered that nearly a half-century ago. You remember this bear? Well, it lived on Lake Namakan.
Born in the land of sky blue waters.
Laverne Ovison is in the autumn of his years, but he's known as the legend of the lake. And once you fish with Laverne, you'll understand why. His weathered face and hands have fished Voyagers for nearly 8 decades now.
There we go.
Over the years, Laverne has gained the kind of wisdom you'd expect from a man who's spent a lifetime in a fishing boat.
I never worry about tomorrow. Do the best you can today.
Autumn has its day, of course, and now we've come full circle, and Francis is back looking for the perfect place to fish.
Wintertime you can go here such as we are today, and won't be anybody else around. You won't hear a sound. It's difficult to enter, so it is not overrun with people. It has all the game. It has bear, it has moose, there's deer, there's something to see and do all year round, and the change of the season is the most fascinating.
So you see, time marches on for parks as well as people. Seasons come and seasons go, but fortunately we have 4 moments that make our memories up here. Memories of 4 seasons in Voyagers National Park.
We were actually just up there to document a few news stories last week. Pretty good character pieces. Watch for them soon on Minnesota Bound.
Beautiful part of the state.
Yes.
Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.